Hi there, welcome to the Ecofina Financial Channel. My name is Philip, and as usual, I'll take you through an important event in the global economy. Remember, click the subscribe button and set up the notification so that you can receive regular updates from this channel. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the digital currency that the Central Bank of Nigeria is planning to launch. So the CBN has actually released a design paper for the E-Naira. The idea is to give a more detailed view of how the development of the E-Naira is coming up, especially as it has been tailored to meet Nigeria's unique needs and circumstances. The key features again, we've talked about it in an earlier video, that it is going to be a legal tender, an official tender, just similar to the way the physical naira currently operates. Most of the things we'll be discussing now are the things that are actually in that document, that design paper for the e-naira. You can access it anytime on the CBN website. It is there. It contains everything from the features to the benefits to the risks to the architecture and some of it. So what we are going to be talking about today are just going to be some highlights from that document. If you want to see the entire thing, then you have to visit the website to read the document. It's going to also the Naira will operate on the distributed ledger technology, which I'm sure many must be familiar with. Is the same technology backing Bitcoin, and not many countries have adopted the digital currency yet. Uh, but Nigeria is probably one of the very few countries leading the way when it comes to the digital currency. The CBN is saying that the e-naira must be seen as a process and not a single step, and they are actually open to feedback, open to ideas on how they can make the process seamless and make it work much better. One thing that we must talk about is the fact that the CBN sees it as a way of improving financial inclusion. The digital payment system, which currently operates, has been seen to be a great success. In fact, statistics released by the CBN shows that there were about 2.7 billion digital transactions in 2020, with a total value of 162.9 trillion naira. Uh, to put that in context, that is higher than Nigeria's 2020 GDP, which was at around 154.3 trillion naira. So the CBN thinks that the e-naira will promote further the digital payment space and try to reduce the cash usage, which is one of the major things the CBN has been trying to do. So, of course, it's going to be introduced in four phases um, based on um, different models. So it's going to include some non-account holders initially, and then account holders, and then there are different phases. You can go through those different phases of the launch on the document itself. But one thing that is important is that the CBN itself has identified the benefits, and we're talking about strictly the benefits in the design paper released by the CBN. We believe it is going to improve the availability of the naira and the usability of the naira. We believe it's going to facilitate diaspora remittances, even though not very sure how that's going to work, but it's one of the benefits in that document. The CBN also believes it's going to support a resilient payment ecosystem, and then it's to encourage financial inclusion. Of course, they hope it will reduce the cost of processing cash. That again has always been one of the things that the CBN has been trying to achieve for a long time. So the risk they also identify, because it's also from the document, is that there's the risk of disintermediation, which means that this process, the e-naira, has a capacity to reduce the funds available to commercial banks and that can be a big challenge. Remember that the e-naira is not going to be like a new set of uh, amounts which you just develop out of thin air. No, you would use the physical naira which is currently available in the bank accounts to buy or to convert into the e-naira. So it's the same naira, being split. So by going to the e-naira wallet, it becomes unavailable to the commercial banks, which means that it can reduce the liquidity in those banks, which in essence will reduce the funds available for lending. And we all know how important lending to the real economy is. So if they now have a lower amount available to them, that becomes a big issue. But the CBN believes that they can mitigate this by restricting the naira to micropayments, uh, you know, and they believe that they can also, with the limits set on on the wallet, it's going to probably not reduce the amounts available to banks. We will wait and see how that would work. Then the CBN also believes that this could expose the payment system to uncertainties. That's clear. Any new system that is introduced within any payment system or anywhere, can, has the capacity to disrupt the current process. So whether it is for good or for bad, that remains to be seen. But of course, it introduces uncertainties into the system. So the CBN believes that they can mitigate that through a good governance structure, and that they will continue to evaluate the risk, really, of the naira. So again, they also believe that another risk is that it could complicate the payment system, which itself can become a risk of further financial exclusion. You remember that one of the main reasons why the CBN is going ahead with this is because they believe it can promote financial inclusion. But they are aware, very much aware, that it can lead to financial exclusion, because even though the e-naira will be based on some complex technology, it's going to be made easy, at least to use for consumers or customers. But again, many people will struggle to see the difference between that and digital banking. And it's also important to understand that 35% of Nigeria's adult population is illiterate, which means that some of them are not even embracing digital payment at the moment. So how will they embrace e-naira if they are not even embracing digital naira, which in essence is connected to their bank accounts? And it took a long time even for banks to be able to convince many to go digital in their payments. So the CBN also sees this as a risk, but they believe that with more education and probably more sensitization, they can mitigate against that risk. Other risks highlighted includes operational risk. Of course, you never know, and when it comes to operations, anything can happen. Even when the system is in place, but is wrongly used either by banks or users, that creates risk in itself. Then cyber security risk, of course, there are always people looking to take advantage or looking for ways to disrupt the financial system, looking for ways, to commit fraud and all that. So that is a risk, and CBN believes, yes, they would to a large extent cover that by making it as safe and secure uh, as possible. The last risk they identify is reputational risk. This can come from a failed launch. If the launch is not successful, probably that explains why they are also taking their time to ensure that they get everything sorted out before they go ahead with the launching. So that's it. On the you can read the full document again on the CBN website, the design of the e-naira. We hope to provide you with more details as we gain a better understanding of the new digital currency. So that's it on this edition. Hope to see you next time. Remember, click the subscribe button and set up the notification so that you can get regular updates from this channel. Thank you.